Hello students, today we are going to learn the difference between morals and ethics. Students, as we know, ethics are the principles that guide an individual. Those are certain principles which will always tell you what is good or what is bad in a particular situation. When we look at the word ethics, the word ethics is derived from the Greek word that is called ethos. The meaning of the word ethos is character. When we talk about character, we understand that something which is related to ourselves, that is an individual. So that is why we can say that when we talk about ethics, it is something that is related to an individual. That is something which comes from within. At the same time, if I want to talk about morals, morals comes from a Latin word called mos. The word mos means customs. When I talk about customs, customs is something which is dictated by the society, which we learn and adapt from the people around us, from our surroundings, our culture. So when I talk about ethics, it means something which is related to character, which means it is something related to an individual. And at the same time, when I discuss about morals, it starts from the word mos, and it is something that is related to customs. And customs, where do we derive our customs? We derive our customs from the society, our religion and our culture. Now, when I talk about ethics and moral, for example, you have been told always that we should always speak the truth. This is a moral. This is moral. But at the same time, when to speak truth and when not to speak truth, that is decided by ethics. Is it ethical in this situation to speak truth or not? That is decided by ethics. It depends on a personal individual. At an individual level, understanding and reasoning of that individual person will decide whether in the current situation it is ethical to speak truth or not. But what does moral says? Moral will always tell you that you should speak truth, because you have been taught by the society and by your customs. So in every situation you can see it from both the sides, from the moral side as well as ethics point of view. Morals, as I said, it is something which is given to us by the society. It is something that is dictated by the society. So morals are not hard and fast rules. Rather, it is a belief of majority of the people. So if majority of people around you believes that this is good and this is a custom, this is a customary practice, then it may turn out and become a moral thing. जैसे for example underworld में morals होते हैं. In underworld they have a moral that you do not have to kill a gangster's family. So अगर दो gangster का problem है तो वो gangsters एक दूसरे को मार के ही they will sort out the problem. They will never go beyond that. वो अपनी families को कभी hurt नहीं करेंगे. But these are morals, right? Even underworld and gangsters have the morals. So it is not necessary that morals are always good, but they are always created by the practices that happen around us and our surroundings, right? So let's now come to the point by point difference between ethics and morals. So let's start with the first thing. The first criteria of difference is, of course, the meaning. Moral relates to the principles of right and wrong. So anything that tells you whether this is right or wrong, that is related to moral. While on the other side, when we talk about ethics, ethics relates to what is good or bad, that is our moral duties and our obligations. This is the plain simple meaning of ethics and moral. As I said, now we come to the root word of this thing. Latin word mos, meaning customs. Custom is defined by the group over a period of time. Societies have customs. So when we talk about moral, it is about customs because it is derived from the Latin word mos. Mos means customs, and what is the meaning of customs? Customs is something which is defined by a group over a period of time. And so when we think of society as a group, whatever practices they have decided or they are accustomed with, those practices become our morals. While on the other hand, in ethics, ethics is derived from the Greek word ethos, which means character. Character is a personal attribute. A person have character, right? So when we talk about morals, it is about society. When we talk about ethics, it is more of a personal attribute. Why? Because the origin of the word ethics is derived from the word ethos, and ethos means character. And when we talk about character, naturally it is something related to individual. So there are two things. One, it is character. Second is society. Things which are related with the society are morals, and things which are related to individual thinking, that is called ethics. Now let us understand what is the nature of morals and ethics. Morals are accepted from an authority, that is cultural, religious, etc. So morals are usually dictated or they are being accepted by a authority or a particular group. That can be because of your cultural view towards it, or it can be because of the religion that you are following. At the same time, ethics are accepted because they follow from personally accepted principles. So ethics are not dictated by someone. Ethics, they come from within, and these are personally accepted principles of what is good and what is bad. So if your culture and your religion says something because of which you are following it, then in that case you are following a moral. And at the same time, if you are doing something which is related to you yourself, you feel it from within that this is the correct thing and this is the bad thing, then that is ethics. For example, if one accepts the authority of a religion and that religion forbids stealing, then stealing would be immoral. Jaise, for example, if I am following a religion and that religion says that look, stealing is something wrong and you should not do it, and because I believe in that religion and I am following it, I feel कि यार मुझे चोरी नहीं करनी चाहिए, that is moral. But at the same time, when we see an ethical view to it, an ethical view might be based on the idea that personal property should not be taken without a social consent. जैसे मैं इसी एग्जाम्पल को अगर एथिक्स के व्यू पॉइंट से देखूं, तो एथिक्स सेज व्हाट कम्स फ्रॉम विदिन. मुझे क्या लगता है सही है या गलत. मेरे हिसाब से किसी की भी प्रॉपर्टी लेने के लिए आपको उस बंदे का कंसेंट चाहिए. यू नीड अ सोशल कंसेंट, राइट? Or something like a court order, you should have an official permission for it. This is what I feel personally at an individual level. I do not feel this because my religion says it. No. I feel it because it is ethical to me to take a property with complete authority. So only and only if I have got a court order or consent of that other person, then and only then I will be taking the property. This is my ethical viewpoint. But if I am not taking the property just because I feel that my religion says that stealing is a crime, so I should not do it. So that comes in the moral point of view. But ethical point of view will always come from within, right? So how are these things expressed? Now we come to the expression part of it. When we talk about expression, moral norms can usually be expressed as general rules and statements. So in case of morals, usually it is dictated in the form of general rules and statements. For example, always tell the truth. This is a statement which we have been listening and learning from years. People around us tell us and we believe it. At the same time, when we see ethics, ethical norms are comparatively abstract. It cannot be described in general rules and statements. So when we talk about morals, it is something that is given in terms of general rules and statements, but ethics are rather an abstract point of view wherein it cannot be derived or described in specific rules or statements. आप specific rules और statement लिख के नहीं दे सकते कि भैया यही आपके ethics हैं, नहीं, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. While in case of moral you can do it because it is based on belief of a group of people, but ethics it has a personal touch to it. So उसका कोई specific ऐसा चीज कोई list नहीं है कि भैया यही आपके सारे ethics हैं, right? Now we see from where these morals and ethics are adopted. Adopted, that means absorption. From where do you get it? When we talk about morals are typically first absorbed as a child from the family, friends, school, religious teachings and other associations. So as we know that it is always derived by a group of people and it is customs which are derived from group of people and that is how you adapt those morals. So बचपन से लेकर अभी तक आप जितने भी ग्रुप्स के साथ रहे हैं उन ग्रुप्स के morals, उन ग्रुप्स के thoughts, उन ग्रुप्स के beliefs आप पे influence करते हैं and that is how morals are decided. So from your childhood you are influenced by your family, you are influenced by your friends, your school, your religious teachings and these are the places where your actual association is. ये वो सारी जगह है जहां पे आपके ग्रुप्स होते हैं. तो these groups whatever they believe and if you start believing them because you are a part of that group, that becomes your moral, right? When we talk about ethics are adapted or absorbed by an individual gradually by taking reasonable decisions on appropriate situation. So in life, students, we will face many situations. We face many situations wherein we are stuck in something. हम लोग एक dilemma में हैं, हम लोग confused हैं, जिसके अंदर हमको decide करना है कि भैया सही क्या है और गलत क्या है. In these situations, we face lot of experiences. हम लोग कई बार सही decisions लेते हैं, गलत decisions लेते हैं. उसके बाद we learn and we understand कि यार अच्छा ये चीज की होती तो सही होता और ये चीज की होती तो गलत होता. जब अपने पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंसेस से आदमी रीजनिंग देता है कि ये चीज सही है और ये चीज गलत है, then that is ethics. That is how ethics are developed. While morals are developed from friends, religious groups, society, and ethics are developed by your personal experiences, your personal judgments, and your personal reasoning towards a situation. Let's talk about the scope of moral. Moral works on smaller scale than ethics, more reliably, but addressing the human needs of belonging and emulation. The word emulation, students, means that effort or desire to create equal or excel to others. What happens is that moral are based on emulation. That means मैं मेरे दूसरे religious mentors हैं उनको देखता हूँ और ऐसा सोचता हूँ कि है ना मुझे भी इनके जैसा बनना है. So I try to imitate them. I try to reach at that level. So if I have learned that speaking truth is always correct from moral and religious point of view, कि मेरे गुरुजी ऐसा बोलते हैं कि भैया हमेशा सच बोलना चाहिए. अब क्योंकि मैं सोचता हूँ मुझे भी गुरुजी जितना अच्छा बनना है, I also have to emulate him, try to excel in whatever I am doing, just like my guruji or just like my father or just like my other friends in the society. I also start speaking the truth. So that is where moral come into play. So when I talk about morals always work on a smaller scale than ethics, but by addressing human needs for belonging and emulation. So there is always a human need of belonging. You always want to be belonged to a society. So आप किसी कस्टम या किसी सोसाइटी या किसी ग्रुप या किसी रिलीजन से बिलोंग करते हो, आपको वो फीलिंग ऑफ बिलोंगिंग हमेशा चाहिए. इसके लिए आप ट्राई करते हो कि यू बी similar to the people who are there already in these groups. So your human need of belonging and emulation means imitating to become good, or your desire to excel in things in which other people are, that is emulation. So morals satisfy your human need of emulation. At the same time, when we talk about ethics, ethics has a much wider scope and includes evaluation of moral standards. Ethics has got much wider scope. Ethics has the power and the ability to decide whether your morals are correct or not. It evaluates your moral standards, and at the same time these standards are reasonable or unreasonable in concrete situations. So what does ethics do? Ethics has got much wider scope. It is not restricted to a particular society. Though we say that it is thought process of an individual, but it works on a larger scale because ethics has the ability to challenge your moral standards. A good example of this is sati culture. बहुत पहले ये माना जाता था कि सती तो करना ही पड़ेगा. सती, अगर आपका पति मर जाता है तो वाइफ को शी हैज टू बर्न हरसेल्फ अलाइव टू बिकम सती टू दैट. अब दिस वाज अ बिलीफ which was followed by customs by the society. When Britishers came, they banned sati. Then it became a law. Sati used to be a moral at that point of time because it was accepted by a group. It was developed and believed by a group over a period of time. इसीलिए that was a moral issue at that point of time. But whether it is ethically correct to burn a woman alive? No. Your individual principle says that it is absolutely absurd to burn a woman alive just because her husband has died. So in that situation, what happened? Ethics came into play. Ethics आया और उसके बाद आपने उसको एक रूल बना दिया. वो रूल बने because of ethics. Over a period of time, people started believing in those rules. And now, when majority of people start believing in a particular thinking or in a particular belief, then it becomes morals. So I do not want to confuse you students. Ethics is different, morals is completely different. But morals is something that is derived from majority of people, and ethics is from a personal level. But when ethics are impactful, they have the ability to change and shake all the morals. जैसे पहले ये माना जाता था कि इंसानों की बलि चढ़ानी चाहिए, लोग इंसानों की बलि चढ़ाते थे. Over a period of time, when people started believing कि ये बेवकूफ़ी है और हमें ये चीज़ नहीं करनी चाहिए, ethically it is not correct, then it started becoming a belief of the majority of people. So पहले जो मोरल था वो एथिक्स की वजह से अब मोरल नहीं रहा. जब एथिक्स आए तो उन्होंने मॉरल्स को आपके चेंज कर दिया. जब मेजॉरिटी ऑफ पीपल भी ये मानने लगे कि सती करना या फिर किसी इंसान की बलि चढ़ाना वो नहीं करना चाहिए, तो इन दैट केस योर एथिक्स दे देन गेट कन्वर्टेड इनटू morals, because then they become the view of a group and not of an individual. Similarly, वैसे ही जैसे बकरे की बलि चढ़ाने की बात करते हैं हम लोग, आज भी इट इज अ डिबेटेबल सिचुएशन, डिबेटेबल इशू. द रिलीजन सेज दैट बकरे की बलि चढ़ानी चाहिए बकरा ईद के दिन, बट सम इंडिविजुअल्स बिलीव के इट इज नॉट करेक्ट टू किल एन एनिमल. So ethics and morals sometimes conflict, but when ethics wins, it may change the morals completely. So to conclude with, we can say that morals is something that is related to the society, which we accept from an authority and from our customs. Ethics is something which comes from within. It is more about individual, it is more about character. And when these ethics, they become so powerful that they start questioning your morals, at that point of time ethics become from a personal point of view, they become the point of view of large audience. And when they become a point of view of large audience, they end up changing the morals and they become morals. Okay, students, thank you so much.